All
All
right.
right, I've included mine.
Yep, I got you.
Include my audio.
Why didn't you tell me, Mom told?
All right. Be 1 second.
Lufka, you sort it.
No, I didn't hear
Yeah.
myself.
Are you guys waiting on me?
Nope, just
Okay. Go lay down. Go on. No, go lay down.
Fucking already a minute already. Damn. Well, let's go ahead and get started. I'm gonna cook dinner here soon. Uh, shit. Fuck it. What episode is this? 4. All right. Welcome everyone to either watching the stream or watching this on YouTube later. Joined today by 9th Battalion. Uh, what the hell is this? 9th Battalion Daggers, right?
yes.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, pretty much we're just gonna start. Go around, introduce yourselves, who you are, and what you do in the unit. Audie, if you want to go.
Sure. I am in the Milsim. I am known as Lieutenant Colonel Audie. I am the CO of the unit. Lufka.
I'm also in the unit. My name is Major Cool Motherfucker, and I assist with the CO and anything that he needs.
Grenade.
All right. My name's 40 millimeter. Um, Everyone here probably much calls me Soul though. I'm a Lance Corporal. Been here for a little bit.
And Alpha. Wait, was Alpha the one that was saying he was included as audio?
Mine's already included. It was Tui.
Ah. Alpha, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah, sure. My name is Master Sergeant Alpha. I am the second command for the Special Forces unit that we have within the 9th Battalion. I'm also one of the social media managers.
Ah. You guys all. This is a Marine unit, right?
Correct.
Okay.
The unit's
Tyrell's.
it's based in like a modern day setting or near future setting in an alternate timeline. So a lot of our equipment it may not be one to one to the current day Marine Corps. A lot of like the experimental rifles are just non-standard equipment that we use.
Okay. Yeah, for some reason I was thinking you guys were an Army unit.
And we get that a lot for some reason.
So, uh, fuck, I really need to start doing this shit more often. Fuck. What is the usual like week to week events going on with the ninth? Like, you guys just had an operation. Was it yesterday, right?
Yeah, so our week to week kind of goes on Sundays is our off day for resting or people want to play other stuff, things like that. We have our staff meetings in the evenings to plan out the next week's events and write the schedule, talk about things we need to work on, things we notice throughout the week or other events coming up. Mondays and Wednesdays are our campaign nights. The campaigns are a curated storyline of sorts where the actions and all of the missions carry on to the next. There's a continuity and that carries on between each map as well. It's just one long, continuous, ever-going story. They're the ones that replicate the more serious side. So a lot of the health, enemy, and equipment is more realistic. Enemies are set to a higher difficulty. They're fully planned out operation and tactics, all of the whole 9 yards. On Tuesdays and Thursdays are most of our training days. So some of the team leads or the squad leads or even people like the sergeant major, he will plan out training for the week, whether that's like advanced infantry training and tactics, clearing out buildings, how to drive in a convoy, just any of that stuff. Those are the days that we do that. Fridays is our formation where we tell everybody, hey, this is what we did throughout the week. Good job. Promotions occur on that day as well for anybody that's been in the unit. We occasionally do a little bit of the fun stuff on Fridays. And then on Saturday is our bigger scale stuff. So what is the bigger scale stuff is something like the Global Milsim Coalition events, or if we are participating in another operation with another unit, those are the days that we like to do that in.
All right. Now, what was the choice? I assume that 9th Battalion wasn't your first choice in units. What made you choose Marines?
That would be better directed at Tui, who is the founder and former CO. Tui. Ah, jeez, I apologize. Kind of a little bit in the founding. So 9th Battalion originally started as a PMC unit a little bit. We are going back all the way into Ghost Recon Breakpoint even. Tui and I go back a couple of years doing this kind of stuff, working in and out of PMC units, things like that. And I had a life-changing moment occur at the end of 2023, and I had to take a break from pretty much everything. Tui hits me up one day saying, hey, I wanted to start a Marine unit. I'd like you to help me kind of start it since you were one. I kind of from the sidelines helped him start a lot of the doctrine and uniforms and all of that. He was like, he told me, he's like, hey, it's on Armor Reforger, it's on Xbox, you should get into it. I eventually found time to get into the things, and he had already built up a huge community. It's been going since.
All right. Now, how often do you guys host either host events or take part in them?
In-house or with other units?
Let's say both.
All right, in-house events we do mostly in the evenings based on Eastern Standard Time. That's to accommodate for the fact that this is a video game. People do this for fun, and a lot of us are adults or otherwise occupied. People have lives, might not always have all the time to do everything throughout the whole day. So a lot of our stuff does take place in the evenings, but we try to do something, at least one thing every day. The joint events, they're a bit more sporadic. Sometimes we'll do 2 or 3 in the week. Other times we'll only do one. It's really depending on what the other unit does, the coordination between us and them. Mods are a huge constraint for that as well. And that's not just in our server. That's like just between the two servers because a lot of the console has a limitation on what they can download.
Shit. I noticed you guys trying to host a event about say a week ago, but that ended up being pushed back. What happened with that?
Yeah, that event was supposed to be a part of the Global Milsim Coalition that was founded by the 75th Ranger Regiment. And that week, the 1.12 update was pushed out, so a lot of the servers had to get restarted, or reset rather, in order to apply the update to the server. We had to plan that event for that Saturday. The event was actually requested to be scheduled the week prior, so we had that whole week to plan out what we were going to be doing. And 3 days out from that event was when the update was pushed out. It was that Thursday, I believe. And we informed the Global Milsim Coalition staff, like, hey, the server needs to be reset to apply the update. Server is out of date. I informed the staff. Another unit, Rogue Sentinel Agency, they informed the staff, hey, the server needs an update because this event was actually supposed to be a joint event between 9th Battalion Dagger Company and Rogue Sentinel Agency. We were both hosting it.
It was a
Friday,
joint event.
yeah, we were both going to be hosting like together. We both got together and came up with a plan like, hey, what kind of event are you doing? But that Saturday comes and I think it was 30 minutes or an hour prior to the event starting, we had to cancel because the server was still out of date. It was not up to date with the current game version.
Like you couldn't join the server at all.
No,
Or
no. When the server is out of date with the game version, you are not allowed to join the server because of that version mismatch.
Okay.
So we were unable to join the server, set up the op, everything. Just the server was basically shut down. So we had to push off the event. We were talking internally between ourselves and Rogue Sentinel Agency, like, hey, do you guys want to host this again, or what's going on? They were rather reluctant to do it because of ongoings with that. We decided a few days later, all right, we'll host it again. And that was supposed to be yesterday's event.
Now, how did the event go yesterday?
We had to cancel the operation yesterday 30 minutes past the briefing time of 2000 EST or 8 p.m. Eastern Standard because there was essentially nobody in the server. We had, I think, collectively 10 people in that server, and the operation was planned with at least the expectation that 50 plus people would participate. The event was supposed to be announced within the 75th Ranger Regiment's servers, and that did not occur. The event was only advertised 30 minutes prior to the event start, and I believe that also led to the low numbers of players because it's very little prep time for people because, mods and all of that. Everybody has their own servers. You have to play musical mods, deleting stuff to join. So I think not enough prep time and announcement time led to the cancellation of that.
Oh, shit. I actually thought I went. Everything worked. 'Cause I know a couple units. If I'm not mistaken, a couple units came by, or I think stopped by, but I think that was way after it was supposed to start.
So Rogue Sentinel Agency did join us for that event as well. A couple of their members were there. 5th Special Forces Group was also present in a few numbers. As far as whole units, though, that is the only groups that did participate. Once we had officially announced that we were canceling the event, Rogue Sentinel Agency said, well, we're already here. Let's host our own little event. They threw something together. We played on that. That went for about 2 hours. That whole thing went for about 2 hours, and then that was it.
All right. Now, one thing I noticed in GMC, like, seems to be a back and forth between yourself and other members. Like, say, recent one was Sosa from 75th. Like, what's going on with, like, what's the beef?
So this started about a month ago when 2 members from the 75th Ranger Regiment inside of the Global Milsim Coalition announced that they had left, and I reached out to the both of them. My initial intentions were to recruit them to our unit because why wouldn't you? I reached out to both of them saying, hey, wanted to just hear their story, like, hey, what happened? Why did you guys leave? Because it didn't seem like it was on the best of terms, but I don't know. The one gentleman was very polite. He had answered a whole bunch of questions. He expressed to me immediately that, like, hey, we just don't want to do American-based Milsims anymore. We want to start our own, like, England-based Milsim because not enough of them exist. And I said, you know what? Best of luck, best wishes. I just asked him a few questions about his time in the 75th, and that was pretty much it. The other gentleman was rather hostile and defensive, didn't answer anything, was accusatory. I didn't press it any further. I had then received a message from the 75th security team saying, hey, people, members of the 75th, present or prior, don't appreciate you digging into their personal lives about the 75th. All right, fine. Had no intent, didn't do anything further. I had then received a ping within the Global Milsim Coalition from one of their higher up staff saying, hey, I'm real interested in this documentary you're putting together, because I had expressed to the other gentleman, like, hey, I might put something together. I don't know. I'm still thinking of ideas. And then I had also gotten another ping in that same server from Colonel Brewer of 75th of a long-winded, very inflammatory, and I would say insulting article claiming that the 75th were not being investigated. It was 9th Battalion being investigated, and because all of our sources were anonymous, that we had no real proof of anything. That moment solidified my desire to actually complete the documentary project. I've never had an experience making something like this, and I wanted to explore my avenues. I had just gotten new editing software, and I wanted to make some new content. And I figured that something like this, the whole investigative and kind of deep dive of history, would have been a really good project for me to put myself to and work towards that.
Now, was the 75th your first option when it comes to like wanting to make a documentary?
Absolutely, because they like to pride themselves on being the biggest milsim in Arma communities. So I figured they have a plethora of people who have been in it, who have knowledge within it. They're a large group. They have a lot of people that can help contribute and paint a picture. So I figured, why not start with one of the biggest? They'll be one of the easier ones because they have such a broad history and so many people within it to ask.
Now, like how how do I say? Was this like documentary? Like, were you planning like making this like some kind of like uh how do you call it, full length feature film, or is this like your usual, I'd say, 10 or 20 minute video showcasing the
I
unit?
want to try and keep it down to about 10 or 20 minutes. A lot of my prior content was a lot longer, probably 40 minutes, almost close to an hour. And between editing and piecing together and reviewing videos and documentary, or not documentary, document content, the hour-long videos just, I could not sustain it. So I'm trying to keep it down to about 20 minutes, but I also want to keep it concise and to the point with all the information that I had gathered.
Right. And I noticed uh, Sandford's kind of taking a step back, like they seem defensive about doing this whole documentary.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because they're extremely defensive on the matter. The entire time they've been trying to drive this narrative that the entire project was malicious in intent, and it never was. The entire project of it was to expose both good and bad of it, like just to cover what is it. Think of a before you buy kind of video, right? What's the goods, what's the bads? I was gonna start it with the broad history of like, hey, who are they? What do they do? How long they've been around? What kind of stuff do they do? And then deep dive into people's personal stories. Hey, this is the good stuff people have said. This is the bad, and then here's what do you think about it? That was all it was gonna be.
It's like have people make their own conclusion.
Absolutely. That's one of the key parts about. I did a little bit of research into like how to construct something like this, and one of the big things it said was not to kind of circle around a confirmation bias of things. Don't let your own personal stuff kind of get in the way of your goal. It's to make sure that the audience is presented with the facts and they come to their own conclusions.
Right. Now, with Sunnyfed not wanting to participate, are you currently looking for like other units to possibly participate?
I am trying to reach out to some other units. I know 82nd's one of the bigger units as well, if not the biggest, if I'm not mistaken. I've got one contact within 82nd. I have not heard back from him yet. If not, I will try and reach out to the 82nd staff by alternative means. If that doesn't fall through or proceed in a timely manner, I will reach out to our partner unit, Rogue Sentinel Agency, and we'll do a documentary on them.
Actually, pretty good start. Uh, who like? Shit. Is it possible we could see a documentary like on the NATO community?
I'm within the NATO community. I kind of want to reach out to some of them and ask them like what's their whole shtick. Doesn't seem the most active of a Discord, but I am interested in kind of hearing a little bit about that kind of project.
All right. Now I know before all this, me and you were actually talking about working together uh, for the documentary. Like, God, I really need to start doing this shit more often.
It's all right.
Like, would 9th Battalion, or I know, is it you or 9th Battalion backing this up? Or I'm not sure how to fucking construct that question.
Yeah, we're open to kind of partnering with Milsim News. In fact, not to be too flattering, but I think a lot of your work kind of inspired me to pursue something like this. I've read a lot of your articles and things like that, and it kind of just inspired me to start my own little project of that.
Or you can actually thank our writer syntax for that. The way we used to do articles um, was just a multiple thread on Twitter X now, and when we got syntax, he actually made pretty much, I would say, streamlined it. That way, we're not making multiple threads because we had an article thread that would be like 20 odd posts.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, and that would be back. That was back in like when we were covering Battlefield 5 shit.
Yeah, one of the people
Yeah.
that I had reached out to for inquiry about the 75th, who was a prominent leader within one of the battalions, had actually recommended that I talk to Syntax about all the things, all the questions I had.
Yeah.
So I'm
I
glad
know
I followed up on that.
I believe he's in college right now, and I'm not going to give out too much, but we are working on another article piece. But I'm not really rushing for it. We're just going to let him. We got a draft coming out here soon. Once we take a look at that, if everything's good, then we'll go from there and work on the final piece. But yeah, we'll definitely look to sponsor the documentaries.
I would appreciate a sponsorship for this because one of the key factors that the 75th are using as a keystone to kind of deny all of our inquiries is the fact that it is a first time project. It is something that I have not done before. And
We had someone a while back. I think he was making something called In the Mud or something like that. And I gotta find it, but we actually were working with him, and he was gonna start making documentaries like different units. Like we were releasing teasers for it, but I don't know what the hell happened. The guy pretty much just disappeared, and everything just went.
life always takes an unexpected turn.
Yeah, but
Yeah, one of the key things we actually just got told today by Brewer himself was the reason that our unit had been put in a recruiting freeze, and the reason they keep denying all of our inquiries into the 75th's history was because he finds it very unusual that someone in a leadership position within another unit is dedicating so much time to writing about the 75th, rather than focusing on growing and leading their own Milsim community.
I mean, folks can do both.
That's been my entire argument. But he continues, this raises questions about your perspective about us, your experience and ability to accurately represent the 75th in a documentary. And he's talking about a strong leader reflects in the strength and engagement of their unit. From what we've seen, there seems to be a significant gap between the rank you hold and the activity within your own group. So instead of actually providing a reasonable reason to deny it, they're simply just coming after us and our size and attacking us over that. And they're using that as the excuse to just shut down all questioning. The other reason that they continue to shut us down is they're concerned about how the information is being gathered. We heard that you're encouraging former members to provide internal details with the promise that their names won't be mentioned. While anonymity can be important in certain cases, it opens the door for unverified or misleading claims, which could lead to the misrepresentation of the 75th. Given that the 75th is the largest unit, we take our reputation seriously and don't believe it's appropriate for someone without first-hand experience or a strong background in Milsim documentation to write about us.
That sounds like a crock.
That's been the entire basis of their argument to both shut us down and deny us a bunch of stuff. But that was the information we had received today. This is also supported by other earlier claims from other prominent 75th members citing a similar concern.
Wait, concern as in?
Basically just denying our request for inquiry. Both the 9th Battalion had been an allied unit of the 75th for quite some time now, about 6 to 8 months, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe less. We had never broken any rules, had never had any real issues with the 75th. We just simply wanted to participate in larger units, get our name out there, and build off the experience. There had been a number of little instances here and there, but that's whatever. This is the first large-scale incident, and since then they have put our unit on a, quote, recruiting hold, meaning we're not allowed into their spaces. A lot of our members, when we would be in their spaces, had always gotten harassed from staff or admin. A lot of questioning, like who you are, what are you doing in here, things like that. One time I even, myself...
In a public server?
In the public servers, yes. We had gotten harassed. Myself, my XO, Mufka, and 2 other of our members had gotten banned without any reason given. Admin didn't pull us aside or talk to us, nothing. That ban lasted for about an hour after I had reached out. At the time, the CO was Tui. He had reached out and asked them, like, what's going on with that? Turns out the guy got a little trigger happy, thought we were poaching, and just banned us without question. Other than that, this has been the first like large-scale issue that we've had with them. So the fact that they're coming at us claiming that our entire argument is based on unsubstantiated claims, it's malicious, you want to misrepresent and slander the 75th, I find extremely offensive and close-minded.
That's weird. The whole situation seems fucked. But anywho, we'll have to wrap this up here soon.
A lot of our position has been to just participate with the larger community, to build our own little group, do our own stuff, but to kind of just work hand in hand with some larger groups. Like I said, we've been working with Rogue Sentinel Agency for a little bit now. We go back even before the 75th's involvement. There was a server called Milsim Life. It was meant to be kind of similar in scope to what the Global Milsim Coalition was, but kind of more in a role play aspect where different units have different parts of the territory on Everon, and they get to fight over control of territory. But us and Rogue Sentinel Agency met in that. That
See,
was
that doesn't sound
about.
too bad of an idea.
No, honestly, it was a really good idea. The reason it fell apart though was because of poor admin management and moderation within the server. And the other issue was, in order to take territory from the opposition, you had to have a minimum of 5 members on both sides of the attack and defense team. And then the defense team had to be given a 30-minute warning prior to that attack, so they could build up defenses and hold it off. A lot of the time, Dagger Company was the largest unit on that server, going 20 plus, and there would be 3 on the Russian team unable to defend their territory because they don't have 5. In the late days of that server, the people would just get in, vote themselves GM, and just start GM abusing, trolling, being disruptive. And at the time, the CO had made the decision to pull us out of that server. Very swiftly, that led to the collapse of that entire server.
All right, gentlemen, it's been fun talking to you. Like I said, we look forward to working with you guys on the documentary.
Absolutely. If
We
you want to reach out again and do something else, probably a deep dive on our unit if you want, talk to some of our members and a little bit about themselves and what they do. I know I did a lot of the talking tonight, but
originally, yeah, this was going to be held in your 9th Battalion server, but a lot of it would have had me delete all my mods and restart it, and we all re-download just to get in. And we all know how long that shit takes.
yeah, mods are touchy. It is Arma after all. Yeah, I'd love to kind of have you in our server and do another interview or things like that, or even have a follow-up to this one. If you ever want any of the any images or context to some of the stuff that we discussed, I'd be more than happy to provide that to you.
All right.
As far as a final statement goes, 9th Battalion's a small Marine unit, a Marine-based unit in a fictional setting, in a fictional timeline. Our goal is to aim for a mix between the serious Milsim side of stuff, the structure, the training, and all of that, while also incorporating a lot of the chill sim stuff, so the fun, engaging activities. We do a lot of different events. We just want to participate in the community. That's why we joined the Global Milsim Coalition. That's why we've wanted to play with the 75th and other units. We just want to be there and have a good time. We all came together in Arma for one reason, and that's for the love of the game.
All right. Well, gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. First, as far as anyone wants to,
Always
this will take about, we'll say, 20 to 30 minutes to download and get up on YouTube. It'll be up by sometime tonight.
Oh, that'd be
So
awesome. I will definitely share that within all of our social media spaces and servers.
Right. But we look forward to working with you guys, seeing you guys again.
Yeah, I appreciate you
but-
reaching out and wanting to do this. Thank you for your time, sir.
Right.
Yeah.
No problem. We'll see you guys in the next.